Hi everyone, this is Bogat's Reviews, and today I'm back with another Walking Dead review. Now, I did forget to mention my last Walking Dead video. I'm kind of trying to space them out to every 2 weeks. That way I'll do like 6 episodes per half seasons of The Walking Dead. Because if I do a review for every episode of every new Walking Dead, like a new figure every Sunday, then I'll run out of figures to show really quick. So I'm going to start doing these every other Sunday. So the next one I should do should probably be the mid-season finale, if I did that correctly. But today I'm back, and I will be reviewing the Walking Dead Bloody Walmart exclusive 3-pack Daryl figure. So before we take a look at Daryl, let's take a look at the accessories that he comes with. Now this is the same Daryl as the one that comes with his custom chopper, and there is nothing different with this figure other than the paint apps. And his eyes. His eyes are different, but other than that, everything is completely the same. So first up, comes with his little hunting knife. Now the handle is just completely silver, which I can't remember if that's correct or not. But it's very, very thin. You can see how thin it is. And of course, he can't hold this in either hand because his hands are both pretty wide open. I suppose if you wanted to, you could kind of rest it in his left hand. But in his right hand, it's just too stretched out from the crossbow to hold it. Can't even hold it like that. But you can put it in his sheath right there. Let me get it in there. Now, I'm always afraid I'm going to break this off if I do that, just because it's so thin. If you turn it upside down, you can see that it wants to come out, but it doesn't. So definitely be careful of that, because I've lost the knife on both of these Daryls. The normal version, and this one, numerous times because of that. So up next, he has his crossbow, his signature crossbow. Now I was hoping this would have some blood deco on it, but it didn't. I think, the only difference is the color of the arrows. These are all green on the one that came with his custom bike, and this one is green and white. But there's no blood splatter or anything on it. So that is a little disappointing. And honestly, this is my least favorite out of this pack. This is definitely my least favorite figure, just because I wasn't a fan of the first one that came with Daryl and his chopper. And then you have Daryl that can just hold his crossbow like that. Like, you can't even get his arms to hold the crossbow. He can just do that. Which bothers me a lot, because this, Daryl is kind of one of those figures that has to get updates every few years because his look changes. And I was really excited to get this because, this is his most recent look, like in action figure form. And this figure just really doesn't do it for me. Like, let me just put this out of his hand, because he's going to drop it anyway, because, let me put it in his hand here and show that. So if you move him very much, or try to pose him around, it'll just fall out anyway. And before I show his head sculpt, you can't even really put it on his shoulder. It just falls right off. So that bothers me. So for the head sculpt, I think it looks a little bit like Norman Reedus. I wouldn't say like a whole lot. It just doesn't look as much like him as this regular version. Let me show it right here. I don't know, I just don't think this one looks as good. I think he's kind of one of those people that's kind of tricky to get like in action figure form, like a great likeness. At least the eyes are looking forward instead of looking to the side like this one. I hate it when figures have that weird, like they're looking to one side. Because when you're actually trying to pose them, that makes it difficult, because you have to pose them sideways because they're going like that. So he does have a little bit of blood on his face right here, on the left side of his face. And he has some blood right here on his jacket. Just on this left side, though. Again, that's one thing that I really don't like about this set, is that, like, the blood detail, you can tell that there's just a little bit right there and there. There's a little bit of blood right there. Is there any more? Yeah, he actually has some on his boots. Some of that blood deco. Right there and there. But it's not a lot. It's really, like, it's not on his sleeves at all. which I find really odd, because if you're going to get blood on you, like, in one place, it's going to be all over. And, you know, it's just like he hit something on his left side only. So this figure suffers from the same thing that Rick and Michonne did. The blood is just concentrated in a couple places and not just all over the figure like I would like. So overall, like, I'll go over the details just a little bit, but practically it's the same thing. I will put a link below if you want to see my original review for this Daryl that came with his chopper. That's why I'm not going to go over it in detail a lot, just because I have basically reviewed this figure before. Like I said, you can see that the details are the same. The buttons are actually a little bit shinier, which I do like. I like how I used his crossbow as a pointer. But that looks pretty nice. I do like that the buttons are brighter, because you can hardly tell they're on here on this original version. And the pants are the same. Actually, I think the new one's a little darker. Yeah. I actually haven't really compared these two. So, the original one, the pants are a little lighter and the pants are a little darker on this one. And if you look on both of these figures, the torso, like, because his torso and, or his chest and his torso are two separate pieces, they're different colors. Like, this is a really, really dark, skin color. And then this is, like, a brighter. So you can tell that the skin tones don't match up, because right here on his chest and neck, it's really dark. And then on his head, it's bright. That's one thing that I hope they fixed. Like, you can see that the hands are different too, different colors. I'm not sure why, because his head and his hands are the same color, but his chest and neck isn't, which I find really odd. So on the back of the figure, let me turn him around here. You can see that they're the same on the back. Even his rag right there is the same color and everything. So honestly, the only thing that's different with this one are the pants are just a little bit darker, the buttons, and he has a little bit of blood on him, and his eyes. So, you know, overall it's not really anything too bad, which I would definitely stay away from this, the one with the chopper, because that was way too expensive for a figure that I'm not a fan of. And in this 3-pack, you pay $30 for 3 of these, and although this isn't my favorite, I'd rather get him that way than pay $40 for him and his chopper that both are broken and don't work properly. So now I'll go ahead and go over the articulation. He's got a ball-jointed head that can't look back at all. He can look down just a little bit. The articulation really isn't great on this figure. It just kind of moves up and down just a little bit. And it can kind of move side to side, but it doesn't move like all the way. He's got ball-jointed shoulders that can move out that far. Somehow his left arm moves out farther. He's got a single jointed elbow that can only come up this far. And he's got a swivel. Well, it's a double swivel. He's got a single jointed elbow and a swivel. And this is what I really hate about this figure, is he can only do that. He can't even actually hold his crossbow. I did manage to get this one to do it, but it was by leaving it in this pose for months. And I did break his arm at one point, so I would not recommend trying to force it, because this thing made me mad, so I just forced it into this position. But he's got a swivel at the wrist. I don't know why I started to say ankle. Wrist that can move up and down and side to side. He's got a ball-jointed diaphragm that can move back all the way. And down just a little bit. It really can't move down as far. It can move side to side. He's got a double swivel at the hips that can just about do a split. It's kind of weird because his right leg doesn't move out that far. You can see he's kind of like kicking. He can kick forward that far and back all the way. Like, that is inhumanly possible, doing that. That rag's very soft rubber, so it doesn't bother it at all. He's got a single jointed knee and a swivel, and he has a swivel ankle that can move side to side just a little bit. You can see it just kind of moves just a little bit, and can move up and down just slightly. So overall, this is definitely my least favorite figure out of this 3-pack, because just because of the articulation is just awful. Like, you can't even get him holding his crossbow like he's supposed to. This is the best position you can get him into. Like, from the waist down, his articulation is perfect. But from the waist up, it's just terrible. But like I said, if you're going to get this figure, I'd recommend getting it in this 3-pack and not getting the Chopper, the Daryl with Chopper figure. So now let's do a couple size comparisons here. Let's get him to stand. So here he is next to the Bloody Michonne and Bloody Rick. That completes the 3-pack right here. I'm not going to get them to stand. But there they all three are together. And these are actually my favorite characters in order. These are my 3 favorite characters in the show. And oddly enough, this is the order in which I like the figures. The best is Rick. Michonne is good, just as good as Rick. And then there's Daryl, who is just terrible. And then here he is next to Carol. This is my custom Carol figure. I got the first Glenn and put his riot gear on her to kind of make it look like her gear from the Kingdom. And then here he is next to the previous version of this figure that really just the difference was without the blood deco. So overall, this set was really solid. The only weak figure in this set was honestly Daryl. The other 2 were really great. But honestly, you could probably do the blood yourself if you already have these figures and save a lot of money. So I like it, but if you know, I think it could work either way, honestly. So that's my review. And if you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.